So whenever you're ready, we are all set.
Okay, good. Well, hello.
Hi.
So first of all, talk about the icon thing, this icon package. If you ask me, you've been an icon forever, since the beginning.
Been around for a while.
Been around for a while, but in a good way, making good music for many years. What's it like to have your name then attached to...
The word icon?
Yes.
It's weird. But, I mean, it's weird. It's bizarre, and of course it's very flattering. Of course, I don't look in the mirror and say icon.
Right.
But I do have a lot of great songs that are probably pretty iconic, like "Heaven Is a Place on Earth" and "Circle in the Sand." So, yeah, I mean it's been a while since I've recorded anything new too. So with this new single and with this best of album, it just worked out really well.
Yeah. How important is it to have something new then? I'm sure it's easier to look back when you have some great new music you can put out that's fresh.
Well, I mean, I guess it's an extra added bonus for the fans, of course.
Right.
Myself, I mean, I wasn't really looking to record anything new. Been there, done that.
Yeah.
and it would take something really, really good for me to record something. So my son found the song actually through a friend of his, and I thought it was really good and recorded it. And it just so happened that Universal were interested in putting out a new best of album. So it just worked together nicely.
How involved were you in picking the songs and choosing what was going to go on?
I was pretty involved because my career is pretty global. So a lot of different songs were hits in different territories. So I had to go through and make it interesting, make it a little bit different, but sort of keep the big hits that people are familiar with in there.
Being an international star like that, a lot of people don't realize there are people that are here in the States, how these certain songs may have been huge for you in Asia or other parts of the world, in Australia and stuff like that. What point after the band, as a solo star, did that international success kind of come? Was that instant? Were you touring the world right away?
Heaven Is a Place on Earth, the single is the single that put me on the map internationally.
Yeah.
We tried for years and years as the Go-Go's, and Mad About You almost did it, but it was Heaven that really did it for me.
Right. What's it like now, touring these places? Did you still do that? I know you still go all over the world.
I work all the time. I work a lot in Europe, and I live between, and I've been living between France and here for over 20 years. So it's fun. I mean, I like going to weird places, and that's pretty much the reason why I like to go on tour, is to go to weird places. And I like to go to the weirdest.
Right. What's been the weirdest?
Probably Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
And but I mean, I love that. And Kazakhstan, I think, is number one.
Wow. Well, that's amazing. You don't need to be doing this. You don't need to necessarily be going to Kazakhstan for the money, obviously.
I love it. Traveling is my passion.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if I'm in a place for too long, I start getting really itchy.
Yeah. Did the songs take on different meaning when you're singing them to
other people,
a new crowd or other people around the world? Does it feel different to you?
No, it always surprises me. Like I was doing a show in Russia, and there's a very obscure song of mine, well, obscure in the States, called California, which was a huge hit there.
Yeah.
And go figure. So luckily I had it in my set, because I think people would have been really angry if it wasn't there.
Right.
So.
Yeah. When you look back at your discography and all your singles over the years, do you differentiate in your mind the Go-Go's work with your solo work? Is it a whole different visual kind of trajectory when you look back at everything you've done?
Yeah, definitely. It's just two different things.
Yeah.
I mean, one's derivative of the other, of course.
Sure.
I think it's all pop, but and they're both equally a big part of me. So one doesn't take precedence over the other.
Looking back, as a fan, it was a big deal at the time. How big of a deal was it for you when that first solo record came out, when it was Belinda Carlisle, solo artist? That must have been a huge step in lots of ways.
Well, I know I didn't really think about how horrifying it was until actually I finished the album. It was out on stage, and I thought, oh, this is going to be, easy peasy.
Yeah.
And it was terrifying. And, being on stage on my own, that's when I realized that, here we go. I mean, I didn't have my security blanket there anymore.
Right. But you did have the friendship. I know you were still working with.
Oh, we work all
others.
the time.
But even back then, when it first started, you weren't solely alone. I don't think, were you? Charlotte was helping you.
Charlotte was, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't say there was much of a friendship between myself and the other girls. Now there is,
Sure, sure.
But it was a pretty acrimonious breakup.
Yeah, yeah. But when did you find peace yourself in that period as a solo artist?
Oh, I didn't find, and there's no peace for me. No peace for me for years and years and years. And for the past 8 years, I'd say, late 40s.
Really?
That's when it happened. But I mean, those years were pretty crazy, and I look at it, and it was pretty nonstop from 1979 to 1998.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty full on. So I wouldn't say that I really had time to take care of myself and really define myself. So I didn't do that until later.
Mm-hmm. Is there a certain album or a certain song that kind of speaks to that for you as an artist, that transitional point where things...
Well, actually, I think out of all the albums is one that no one, a lot of people in America don't know about, but did well internationally, is my album that I did all in French called Voila.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that was when I got sober. I made that album when I first got sober at the age of 47, and I think that kind of set it all for me. But that isn't included on this album, so it's probably not very interesting to anybody else. But really, with that album is when I sort of felt really comfortable. I mean, it used to be from the very beginning. I'd give my career, I'd say 6 months. If I'm doing this in 6 months, it must be what I meant to do in life. And I can finally say this is probably what I meant to be doing in life, is singing.
Yeah, it took that long, but even all the validation from your fans and all the sales, it really took that long for you to have that feeling?
Yeah, it does. Well, that's my own stuff, though.
Yeah.
That's another story.
Right.
It's another
right.
2 or 3 hours. So, yeah.
People can read that. People can read that book, I guess, right?
That's another book,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
But no, it's doesn't matter what other people's validation. You have to come up, validate yourself, and that takes some time sometimes. But
Sure.
it's what I meant to be doing.
Yeah. Does this open a new chapter? Does it, putting out a best of like this, do you then look towards the future more, having put these songs out again for people to see what a great solo artist you are? Does it open you up to more new songs?
Maybe. I'm not making any great plans, but who knows? I mean, I had fun. It was a great song, and for me to put commitment into, everybody always says, why don't you do an album? But for me, I'm really picky with lyrics that have to be totally age appropriate. I can't be singing about, oh, my boyfriend, he's gone away, boo-hoo, and all that stuff. And also, it takes a year or two out of my life, and I have such a full life doing other things like traveling.
Sure.
And I'm not sure I want to give that up.
Right, right.
So there's different ways to work these days. You can just put a single out like I did, make a single. It's not that time consuming, and put a bunch of songs together like on this Icon series. And I like working like that.
Yeah. You said the Icon thing, we were joking about that at the start, but people have been saying that about you, obviously, in Specs since the beginning, because you guys are pioneers in so many ways as a band, and then taking that solo after only a few years, really, at least in the public consciousness. So what did it feel like having that label put on you guys early on, being pioneers, and you at the center of it all? There was an iconic nature to what you were doing from the start in lots of ways.
Well, we didn't think about that as we were doing it. We were just, girls that wanted to have fun. Girls just want to have fun, but it's true, actually. And it was, we didn't think of ourselves as feminists at all. We didn't think that way. We were feminists in as much as we were doing, it our way without any Svengali. We were self-taught. We had female operation, management, roadies.
Sure.
It was a girls' club, but we weren't. We were aware. I think a couple years into being in the public eye that we were pioneers in a way, that were opening up doors for women in music, and in a time that was really dominated by men.
Yeah.
And there was a couple years we were filling up the Whiskey and the Starwood and clubs all over the States, and record companies still wouldn't sign us because we were women.
Right.
And they would tell us that.
Sure.
You know, there's been no track record of anybody before the Go-Go's that's really, I mean, of course there's been the Runaways and Fanny, but they were only big on a cult level.
Yeah.
So we can't take the chance in signing a band like you.
Yeah, it's a whole new world. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Some of those clubs are right across the street. I know you guys were right around these blocks. Was a big.
Oh,
big
this
deal.
is I lived right around the corner in the big punk rock commune.
Sure.
It's fun.
Do you think about those things when you drive by? That
Oh,
seemed
no,
like a million years ago.
No. I actually I do. My son forces me to think about
Yeah.
them because he wants, he wanted to see everything. So I had to show him the Canterbury.
Right.
I showed him the Mask where we used to roll our amps down the street and down Hollywood Boulevard to rehearse at the Mask, which is now World of Wonder production offices. Which I was lucky enough to go last year. We got a star on Hollywood Boulevard right in front of the building where we used to rehearse. And went down there and the graffiti was still there.
Right.
Go-Go's suck. So it was funny seeing all that.
Yeah. Talk about your voice, because you still sound great. Now, you've always had, to me, the coolest voice in rock and roll. What's it like keeping that voice, and what do you do now? You're going to go on tour. You're going to know what the Go-Go's this summer. Is that part of certain exercise? You stay healthy. You look great. Is there a regime? Is there a routine?
Yeah, well, there is now. I mean, I'm in my mid-50s, so I have to take extra care. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I carry humidifiers with me. I can only do like 2 days on, a day off. Gone are the days when I could do 4 in a row and drink and smoke all night. I can't do that anymore. But I take very good care of it now. I have to.
Mm-hmm. And as a band, what's that feeling like when you guys get back together now? Is everyone now on that same plane? Is it a new world for all you women?
Yeah, it's we have a few years left in us, I think, and we're enjoying each other's company. We had a great time on the last tour, and we're on the road this summer with the B-52s from mid-June to mid-July, and that's going to be a blast.
Yeah. That's official now. This came out this week, right?
Yeah.
I think officially that you're having a big tour.
Yeah, it's official.
Okay. I know it was supposed to be a farewell thing even a couple years ago. What kicked into gear to make it?
I always joke it's a band I keep trying to quit.
Yeah.
But it's actually it was going to be a farewell tour, and to preface it by saying the Go-Go's are like one big happy dysfunctional family. So of course it was a farewell tour. It was very dramatic.
Right.
And then Jane went on a hike and fell off a cliff, as I love to say, and wrecked both of her knees. So we had to cancel the farewell tour, which gave us time to think about, well, maybe we shouldn't break up.
Right.
So I think we have a few years left in us, and everybody has their own lives too, and we make time to come back together once a year.
You figured out how to make it work.
Yeah.
But in talking to people and at work and friends, they hear there's a Go-Go store. Everyone still gets excited about it, at least in my circles. The demand is still there, so obviously
it's
people
bigger
want to
than
see
ever.
you guys. Yeah.
It's weird. It's bigger than ever. I don't know. I mean, go figure. I have, it's a good show. The songs, they're moments to a lot of people. It's not just music. It's a whole era of the 80s, I guess.
Right.
And
but it transcends that. I think it speaks to the songwriting and your work.
It transcends that. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So it wouldn't be, be a different
Unfortunately,
kind of
it becomes fashion sometimes too when you look out in the audience.
Oh yeah.
But it's good, and I'm really grateful about the Go-Go's still being able to work like that. And it's it's original fans and their kids and their parents. It's everybody.
Yeah. And those songs that were so important to you back then, and they were real stories of you and the other girls in the band. Those things still have emotional resonance. You still think about some of those early things, or is that faded over the years?
Well, no. Some of those. I mean, a lot of those songs were written about somebody's boyfriend or somebody's breakup or whatever, and they do resonate on with me when I have to sing them on so many different levels.
Yeah.
Some of them are really fun to sing, like "Lust to Love" is that was one of the earliest songs, and singing it live is still, I can remember who it's about and how I felt then, and I can still feel the same way.
Yeah.
So it's great. It's fun singing those songs.
Yeah. I was playing the solo record with my daughter, and Since You've Gone, all of a sudden she was a see her going
Yeah,
into the
Since You're
world.
Gone's amazing.
Yeah, it's such a great song. Yeah. Do you let yourself go back and look at your solo videos or
No.
some old? Is that all?
No, I don't. I don't. No, I don't. I don't look at any of the old
Yeah.
stuff. I can't. I can't. I don't listen to. I don't read my press. I don't. I don't. Like. I don't like hearing the sound of my own voice speak.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's a good thing to avoid all that anyway. So it's I've always. Well, I was like that for the past 20 years. I've been like that.
Yeah,
So I just don't let myself.
Yeah.
That that person who I know it sounds pretentious speaking in the third person, but that's like a whole other thing than what I am in my normal life.
Well, I think you've
So
made
it
it
kind of
whatever
freaks
you.
me out that I get it in front of people and sing.
Yeah.
Actually, if I really think about it,
Yeah.
I did that once. I worked myself up into a big tizzy I remember during the Runaway Horses tour. And I looked outside and go, oh my God, those people are here to see me. And I started freaking out about it. Like, this is what I do for a living.
Right. But those moments have been few and far between, obviously.
Yeah, I know it is. Like I said, this is what I'm meant to be doing.
Yeah.
And I just switch gears when I do it because if I'm the person that I am in my normal day life, getting up there, I couldn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you've obviously made it work. You know what you're doing.
Thank you. Yeah, I think so.
There's a reason you're still here. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Belinda. Real pleasure talking
Thank
to
you.
you.
Nice talking to you. Thank you.
Awesome. Do a little something into camera real
Okay.
quick. Do it 2 or 3 times, even though it's goofy. But tell me when you're ready, Chris.
All set.
I need to get closer. Or am I okay?
No, you're good.
Okay. Yeah, that's right, Mario. I am here with icon Belinda Carlisle. That's right. I am here with icon Belinda Carlisle. I think we're good.
Yay. Okay.
Thank you.